When Father Alex first asked me to say something, I thought, oh gosh. And then I thought, what a great opportunity to thank you for all the love you've shown to me. It happened about 2 years ago when I casually mentioned to my good friend Dorothy Yates that I really miss not being able to attend a prayer service. And she said, why don't you come with me to mine? So I decided to give it, I think you call it a test drive here. And I came in, and of course the sanctuary was lovely, and all the smiling faces were encouraging, and I found the words very meaningful. But I quickly realized I was in trouble. Because you see, I have macular degeneration, and I have to read with a magnifying glass, and I got hopelessly behind. And the people on either side of me saw me struggling, and they were trying to help. But the last thing I wanted was to be a distraction. So I said, never mind, I'll just listen. And listening was good. But at the end, when I was starting to say, I don't think I can do this, everybody around me was trying to figure out how I could. And my new friend Annette said, I'll just bring bookmarks so you don't have to hunt for the pages. And that really worked. Although I have to admit that sometimes she had to point to which bookmark I was to go to, and sometimes whether we were on the left side of the page or the right. And then a few weeks later, one of the leaders handed me some papers. And he said, when I lead, I like to type out the whole thing because it helps me. And I thought it would help you. And it was wonderful. I no longer had to fear about getting lost. And then the other leaders, because they rotate, started doing the same thing. So I got to come and I got to participate. And that meant I also got to attend the fellowship afterwards. And that is wonderful. We talk about everything. We laugh a lot. And nobody can resist the ministry of Maggie and Shiloh and their unconditional love, even if you don't bring treats all the time. And then I got invited to the book club, and that's another great group, and they have marvelous selections and really great discussions. And I found that it not only blessed me, but it blessed my family with great bonding discussions. My granddaughter came up from Cincinnati, and we discovered that her book club and your book club here, we were reading the same book. And so we started talking about our favorite characters, which were different, by the way. And then her dad, my son, said, that sounds like a good book. And we said simultaneously, you should read it. And he said, I'm going to. And sure enough, a couple of weeks later, I was sharing with David, and he was sharing with me his take on the book. And then every Sunday night, I talked to my brother who lives in Boise, Idaho. And I knew that he would like the book because he was a forest ranger on the West Coast when he was younger. And he just opened up with all of his experiences and all of his good stories. And we must have talked for over an hour. I was very glad that we weren't having to pay by the minute. So family bonding entered in. That was a special blessing that I didn't even expect. But getting back to you all, you can't believe how much it means to me that so many of you have volunteered to pick me up or take me home, because I don't drive anymore. And if my regular transportation has a conflict, otherwise I'd have to stay at home. And you act like you really want to bring me instead of it's a Christian duty. So I really appreciate it. One day when we were coming home, Annette, the driver, said, I hope you don't mind, we're stopping at Giant Eagle before I take you home. I'm buying bags of potatoes, they're on sale. And I'm going to bring them for the food pantry. Well, I didn't even know that St. Barnabas had a food pantry. So they told me all about it, and we all got out, and we all bought bags of potatoes and brought them back to the church. And I thought, how great that I get to participate in a Christian outreach. And then I found out you have a clothes closet. So now I clear out my closet on a fairly regular basis. And it's a win-win combination because I not only get to help somebody in need, but my closets are looking a lot neater than they used to. And I can just put it in a bag and bring it along when I come to church. And you know, there's lots of things in our closet that just hang there. We never wear them. We like them, but we don't wear them. So it was a special blessing. But the really crowning thing was last year about this time. I came in the side entrance, and the floor was filled with bags. You could barely walk. And I started to laugh, and I said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Oh, we adopted a church in the city at Christmas time for those in need." And that really warmed my heart. And I thought, St. Barnabas is not only a church that talks the talk, but you walk the walk, and you do it with a great deal of joy. And then I thought, why isn't St. Barnabas my church home? So in a couple of weeks, I'm joining you. And I want to thank you for the wonderful love you've shown not only to me, but you show me how to love others better because you love well. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Talk about love in action.